Hey everyone, if you or your family rely on Medicaid in New Mexico, you're absolutely going to want to pay close attention to this. Today, we're breaking down the official step-by-step process for renewing your benefits online. Basically, we're going to make sure you don't experience a sudden, unexpected lapse in your medical care. Let's dive into this explainer and get your coverage secured.
So, right off the bat, could you lose your New Mexico Medicaid coverage this year? Well, the short answer is yes. For a long time during the pandemic, we had continuous enrollment, which meant you didn't really have to worry about renewing at all. But because of new federal laws, that era is officially over. Everyone enrolled in Medicaid or SNAP in New Mexico has to take urgent action to prove they still qualify. Basically, if you do nothing, your coverage will just stop.
I literally cannot emphasize the high stakes enough here. Ignoring a renewal notice can end your coverage even if you still totally qualify. The state actually calls this a procedural closure. It's what happens when someone is still eligible but simply didn't return the paperwork in time. But hey, don't stress. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to avoid this. The online renewal process is actually super straightforward, and we're going to demystify the whole thing right now.
Okay, here is our roadmap for this explainer. 1. Understanding New Mexico Medicaid. 2. Why you must renew. 3. Accessing the YesNM portal. 4. Completing your online renewal. 5. Troubleshooting and scenarios. And finally, 6. Recap and next steps. Let's get into it.
All right, starting off with Section 1, Understanding New Mexico Medicaid.
You might actually know New Mexico's Medicaid program as Centennial Care, though it's currently transitioning over to Turquoise Care. This is a massive, vital safety net that provides comprehensive health coverage at absolutely no cost to eligible low-income adults, children, pregnant women, and individuals with disabilities. It covers the whole shebang, from standard doctor visits and hospital stays to mental health services and your prescription drugs. Most folks get this care through a managed care organization, or MCO, which is essentially just the insurance company that coordinates all your services.
Moving right along to Section 2, Why you must renew.
So as great as it is, Medicaid eligibility doesn't just last forever. It runs on a standard 12-month cycle. But there's this really interesting concept you should know about called ex parte renewal. Basically, under federal law, the state has to try and renew your coverage automatically first. They pull data they already have on file, like IRS tax data and state wage records. If they can confirm you still meet the income limits, boom, your renewal is processed automatically. You'll get a notice saying your coverage continues for another 12 months, and you don't have to lift a finger. But if they can't verify everything automatically, well, the ball's in your court. And that brings us to a super crucial point. If the state cannot renew you automatically, they're going to mail you your renewal forms, and they make it incredibly easy to spot. You need to keep an eagle eye on your mail for a highly recognizable turquoise envelope from the New Mexico Human Services Department. This envelope contains your notification, your instructions, and the paper forms. Seriously, the very second you see this turquoise envelope, you know it is time to act.
Okay, on to Section 3, Accessing the YesNM portal.
Now, while you can return those paper forms by mail or fax, the absolute fastest, most reliable way to handle this is online. When you go online, make sure you look for the official Yes New Mexico banner. The only official website you should ever use is yes.nm.gov. And please pay super close attention to this next part. Beware of scams. The New Mexico Human Services Department will never, ever threaten you with legal action, and they will absolutely never ask for your credit card information. The Medicaid renewal process is 100% free. If a website asks you for payment to renew your Medicaid, you are not on the official state site. Close the tab immediately.
So if you don't have an account yet, or if you had one on the old legacy system, you're going to need to register. You'll need a valid email address, which you can grab for free from Google or Yahoo if you don't have one handy. You'll also need to provide your first and last name, your phone number, and your date of birth. But I really want to highlight the password requirements here because they are super strict to protect your health data. Your password has to be between 14 and 30 characters long, and it must contain at least one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, one number, and one special character. Kind of a mouthful, right? So definitely have that thought out before you sit down to register.
All right, Section 4, Completing your online renewal. Once you log in to the yes.nm.gov welcome dashboard, you're going to be prompted to link your new account to your existing case. After your case is linked, you should see a big button right on your dashboard that literally says, Renew My Benefits. Clicking that button kicks off the whole process. But before you begin, make sure you have your personal identification, your current income details, and any existing Medicaid info sitting right there with you. You're going to answer questions about your household size, your income, and your resources. The state estimates that completing this application takes an average of about 45 minutes. So grab a cup of coffee, sit down with your documents, and carefully work your way through the prompts so you avoid any common slip-ups like misreporting your income. To keep this whole thing incredibly simple, the state actually outlines 3 basic steps to renew. Step 1. Update your contact information right now so the state actually knows where to send your notices. Step 2. Watch for that bright turquoise envelope in the mail, or keep an eye on your email if you opted for electronic notices. Step 3. Complete your application on the YesNM portal. If you follow these 3 steps chronologically, you are absolutely setting yourself up for success. Once you hit submit, the state processes your application and shoots a final decision notice over to that updated address of yours.
Let's look at Section 5, Troubleshooting and Scenarios. Now, the state of New Mexico has built in some really critical safety nets to prevent people from losing their health care unnecessarily. First up is the 75-day extended submission window. This basically means you have 75 days to submit your necessary renewal documents, and during that entire time, your Medicaid case remains open and active. But what if you miss that deadline entirely and your case closes? Well, that triggers the 90-day reconsideration window. If your case is closed simply because you didn't return your paperwork, you get 90 days from the closure date to submit your info. If you do, the agency has to reconsider your eligibility without you having to file a brand new application from scratch. Let's look at a real-world scenario comparing returning paperwork on time versus experiencing that dreaded procedural closure. Imagine you recently moved across town but completely forgot to update your address with the state. The turquoise envelope goes to your old apartment, you never see it, and boom, you miss the deadline. Suddenly, you go to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription, and the pharmacist tells you your insurance is inactive. That is a procedural closure, and it is incredibly stressful. However, because of that 90-day window we literally just talked about, you could immediately log into the YesNM portal, update your info, submit your renewal, and potentially have your coverage reinstated retroactively. But obviously, updating your address beforehand to ensure you return the paperwork on time is the much better stress-free route.
Now, if you get locked out of your account or you log in and just don't see that Renew My Benefits button, don't panic. The state has resources ready to help you out. You can call the Income Support Division directly at 1-800-283-4465. They also have a 24/7 chat feature right on the YesNM website, which honestly is the fastest way to just quickly update your contact information. Or you can shoot them an email at nm.customers@hca.nm.gov. Really, don't hesitate to use these support contacts or reach out to local community help centers if you hit a roadblock. They're there to help.
And finally, Section 6, Recap and Next Steps. Before we wrap things up today, just a quick disclaimer. While this explainer compiles the official guidelines and processes for New Mexico Medicaid, everyone's household and income situation is completely unique. For personalized assistance, specific eligibility questions, or, more complex cases, please be sure to consult the official New Mexico Healthcare Authority, the Human Services Department, or a qualified community health professional.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Will your coverage actually be ready when you need it most? Medical emergencies don't wait for your paperwork to process. Do not risk a procedural closure. Your absolute first next step, right as this explainer ends, should be to head over to yes.nm.gov, log in or create your account, and simply verify that your mailing address and email are correct. By taking just 5 minutes today, you can ensure that your vital health coverage remains active for the entire year ahead. Thanks for following along, and go get that account updated.